Hello everyone, Dominic here from Esports News UK. Got an extra special guest today, someone that I go back years with, and as we started out as guildmates in World of Warcraft, and now here we are. I'm a journalist in esports, and here he is, a top Hearthstone caster in esports. It's Raven, aka Alex Bagley. Have I said your surname right there?
Bagley.
Bagley. Oh
Yeah,
no.
it's fine.
Okay, I might leave that in anyway, just because I might clip it. But
Sure.
we'll see how we go. How are you doing,
Everyone
Alex?
does it. I'm doing really good. Yeah, just finished a season of Grandmasters, so I've got a little bit of time before the next season starts, so I can wind back a little bit and relax. But yeah, I'm good overall, mate.
Yeah, good. It's good to finally talk to you. I've wanted to do this interview with you for so long now, to talk about Hearthstone esports, because it isn't an esports that's maybe like the top tier League of Legends, CS:GO, Dota,
Right.
but it's got its solid following. You know, I'm a fan of Hearthstone. It's ideal for me. I can play it around the house. If I'm looking after the kids, it's an easy pick up and play game. So it's great to talk to you. I mean, first up, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into esports,
Yeah.
perhaps.
So how I got into esports, I played I think it started off with me getting Diablo 2 a long time ago, and it was the first online game I'd ever played, and it amazed me. The second I was in game and there was another person running around doing stuff, I was like, this is incredible. And then, fast forward a little bit, Warcraft 3 makes sense, started playing that, realized, there's a ranked mode, which obviously wasn't really in Diablo or anything like that. So I played some of that. Then suddenly there was World of Warcraft, and StarCraft 2 as well came out, which was a big deal. And for me, StarCraft 2 was the big one. That was my first sort of foray into competitive, into really just the world of esports. And I did try to compete at it. I was not great, or not good enough, should I say. I got like Masters was the highest I'd finished. But overall, like to be top at StarCraft 2, you have to be in the 0.0000 carry on for a while percent of players. But the game is incredible and I love it. And then naturally from there, guess what? Another Blizzard game came out, Hearthstone. I love card games. I love World of Warcraft, as you well know. And it all molded together. So I started playing that a lot. I got into the beta, which was lucky. And then there were tournaments. They kind of popped up everywhere. Online cups you could sign up to, just a one-day thing just to play out. And then that snowballed into UK lands, like Insomnia back in the day.
Yeah,
I went to there with a chunk of friends. I placed pretty well at, I think my second one? I think it was the second one I went to. I placed quite well, only losing to what were then pro players of Green Sheep, who was a fellow UK player who played for Dignitas.
I remember.
And Caldi, who played for Fnatic. And then after that, it kind of just started to snowball where I was running events in Manchester to just run tournaments,
Right.
which was a lot of fun, called like Barcrafts. So to watch Hearthstone tournaments and run them. That was a load of fun. And then basically one day I got knocked out of Insomnia, another one. And I got asked if I wanted to player cast the finals with the caster they had. So I did. It was a lot of fun. And then I started running online events where I would just cast, because you don't need to pay anyone if you just do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
So we were casting show matches and just doing that. The community was there, the Facebook UK Hearthstone community back then that me and a few friends helped run. We were doing events. And then, honestly, there was two big events that really pushed it, which was Gfinity. We're running events in London. I don't know if you'll recall, for a few games.
I didn't know they did Hearthstone, because I remember
They
the
did
ESL Prem.
initially, like right at the beginning, they ran loads of opens with qualifiers,
Right.
and also invited half of the players. So they had Firebat over there. They had Tom before Tom won Worlds, way before that, back when he was a grinder. Like all the old school players, Forsen went and Maz went, like all the old ones. And I got asked to cast it. And I was, yeah, of course, like this is a big tournament, especially it being held in the UK. It's a big deal. So I cast that. I was terrible. It was so bad. The first time sat in front of a proper setup, proper camera, light in my face. It was so bad. There's VOD somewhere, so if you want to laugh one day, by all means, watch that.
Oh, I'm sure it can't have been that bad. Was it the pressure got to you, or?
Yeah, because what happened was, it was me another UK guy called Aquablad, who was also as new as I was. And then there was Nimsh, who was like a seasoned veteran caster at the time. And that's Admirable, who's also a big caster at the time. And we cast with one of them each. And then I think it was the third match. It was just me and Aqua. We'd never done it before, never really hosted anything that big. And the camera came on and it was just pressure. Because Nimsh, especially, when I cast with him, did a great job of, this guy's new. I'll lead him into every question. I'll set him up to sound good, things like that, and create you comfortable on the desk. But there was both of us just noobs, just sat there, and it was like, welcome. We've got another match coming up. He's playing Hunter. It was so bad. It's so cringy. But it went okay, right? None of us messed up. We didn't just completely go mute on the desk. And then, finally, I'll finish my answer in a second.
No, it's good.
No, and then not long after that, there was, it was always a dream of mine, actually. I was playing for a team called Manalite. And
I remember. This was one of my first articles on my site. When I said to you, hey, I've set up a news site. I was writing about Manalite anyway because the League of Legends UK team was doing quite well. And then I saw you signed up. I was like, wow, this is great.
The olden days. So it was a big thing. It's like one thing I always wanted to do. I played Insomnia in the UK, but I always wanted to go to DreamHack, right? Because to us, especially at the time, DreamHack were running the best Hearthstone tournaments. They were big opens. A lot of the time it was a big Swiss tournament, which is generally the best format for card games. I always wanted to go and play. So I joined Manlight, and then they sent us all over the whole team to play, which was great. The day before I was going to fly, I got a message from Suede, who at the time was running all the DreamHack Hearthstone tournaments. And he said, oh, hey, do you want to cast instead of play? I see you on the list of players. You come in anyway. Do you want to just cast and we'll pay you? I was like, yes, of course. That's guaranteed money, whereas playing is definitely not guaranteed money in a card game. So I went, and suddenly I was sat on a desk. I think it was Frodan, who was obviously huge. Nimsh, again, I cast with him before, so that was nice. I knew him. And then Lothar as well, who I'm good friends with now. And I think it was either Admirable or Noxious was there. So anyway, I was like, I get to sit on a DreamHack desk with some of the biggest Hearthstone casters that exist at that moment in time. Like, yeah, I'd love to. I went, had a great time. And again, I think the trick back then was just don't completely mess up and you'll be fine, right? Because there were tons of Hearthstone tournaments going on, and obviously organizations needed people to cast them. And there was times where there was 2 tournaments on the same weekend. So because I was on DreamHack, I did a big major tournament and wasn't terrible. I wasn't good, but I wasn't terrible. I started getting picked up from there, and then it all kind of snowballed. So here we are, 5 years, 6, maybe even 7 years later. I don't even know. A while later, and I'm doing it for full time now, which is pretty
brilliant.
crazy.
No, that's a great story. And a few things have popped into my head from you chatting there, Raven. I might call you Raven sometimes and Alex other times. It's just to
fine by me.
Keep it going. But there's one of the head League of Legends casters, or he's sort of in charge of bringing in other casters. Quickshot, his name is, and this has come up recently because a bunch of UK League of Legends casters have been called up to the LEC, which is great. And apparently the advice or the thing he says to the newcomers is, on their first cast, don't be shit. And that's basically what they said to you, just don't muck up kind of thing.
I mean, that's the thing. I think that all you need to do, you don't need to have perfect knowledge of the game, right? I don't think anyone expects that. Well, a lot of viewers expect that, but it's not going to happen. But you don't need flawless knowledge of the game. You don't need to, try and be over smart. I think for me, and it's something I still try and do to this day, is just have a good time, right? Just have a fun talk about the game. Like, that is the best casting, in my opinion, anyway. And also, yes, you're on camera. If you look at the wrong camera, you're not going to get sacked, right? But in general, just try and even fake confidence, right? You don't have to be showy and crazy, but just be okay that you're on camera. Don't let it bother you. Almost forget about it, right? And then at worst, you'll have done fine. And that's it. So I think for me, I still just, even if I cast tomorrow, all I really focus on is just having a good time, right? Like watching some great games, chatting with my co-caster, and just letting people know about the game, sort of putting in some educational stuff in there, but really we just sat having a good time talking about a game.
People forget that sometimes, Alex, that things get so serious. Sometimes there's a lot of drama, and people forget at the end of the day. I say this often to people. It's esports, it's video games. They're designed to have fun. Right. It doesn't matter if someone's forgotten something. There's been League of Legends casters and others shunned or called out because they forgot the name of an item. For me, stuff like that doesn't really matter. Football commentators, okay, it's bad when it happens, might forget the name of a player,
right,
and have to read down their list and go and then say the name. But it's not the end of the world. Okay, if you do it every 5 minutes, that's not great. But it doesn't matter. It's games at the end of the day.
Well, what worries me is if, for example, like you said, with football, you're watching a match, right? Commentator either forgets or just says the wrong name.
Yeah.
You go, I'm going to stop watching now. It's ruined. I'm never going to watch this again. It's it's fine. It's okay. Everyone makes mistakes. But like you said, the important part is just it's spotting weaknesses is important when you're casting, and that's where good co-casters come in, and just friends in general, is just to say, well, that was bad that you did.
Yeah.
And being able to take that is important, but that's how you get better, right? You can't know you're doing something wrong if no one tells you.
Exactly.
So but like I said, the important thing for me is I view it as I'm sitting down with a friend and we're going to talk about the game. It sounds good to me.
So a couple of things you've reminded me of when speaking to me about some of the early days is, I think, again, one of the first articles on my site, I think you might have done, I'd forgotten about this, a guest post on the top legendary cards in Hearthstone or something like that. And there's some really old ones in there, back when Sylvanas and all that and the Dark Knight were good legendaries before Wild ever existed and all of that stuff. And also, I seem to remember you doing a tournament, I think it was at EGX, you were crowned the UK's best gamer. What was that?
And you know what? You know what's best about that? They never did another one. So I just still hold that title. It's just, that's my title now. It's true. If they don't host and re-crown someone else. No, it was a cool tournament, actually. It was run by, I think, Virgin Media.
That's it.
Were either running it or the main sponsor, whatever. And it was a hexathlon, so it was 6 different games. And to qualify, I think there was 3. It was Smash. Was it Smash 4 at the time? It must have been, I think. It was Smash, FIFA, and Hearthstone was how you qualified. And basically, you played online to just accrue points or whatever, and then the top X total qualified. You turn up, and it was a one-day event, and we played Smash, Hearthstone, FIFA, Destiny, what was it? Destiny. Oh, Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, right.
And what was the other game? Oh, and Smite.
Right. That's a real mix, isn't it? You've got football.
I suck at FIFA, so that one did not go well. But I did all right in the rest. But some of them, there was drama at that event as well.
Was there?
Because, well, there's 2 things. One was really funny. I was like, okay, if I do well in Hearthstone, I'm pretty confident I'll beat anyone here in Hearthstone, because I was one of the only pro Hearthstone players. Everyone else just didn't know what to do, so I won. But it was one single game of Hearthstone, was the Hearthstone section, and I was like, oh, is that it? Never mind. So I was a bit worried about that. But we played Smite, and we played on controller because it's on console, and it was really weird. Luckily for me, again, because I play people might know me for Hearthstone, but I play nearly every game that's ever made. I play so much. Yeah, I played a lot of Smite, and they split us into 2 teams of 5. There was 10 of us total, and although if your team won, you got 10 points, right? But per kill, you personally got 1 point or something. Right. So it's within your interest for the team to win, but you obviously still want to do better than your teammates, because it's still a one person wins the tournament. Someone next to me, this guy, looked over and he saw I was hovering a champion, and he was just talking to me. He's like, oh, is he good then? And I was like, oh yeah, he's pretty good. And this guy was on the other team, right? And I was like, yeah, he's good. And because they're unique champions, he then, as soon as we started to make the game, he locked him in. And I was like, oh, is that how it is? Okay. But this champion was Ra, which is a mid, right? Just to go into probably more open league talk. So it's the equivalent of someone playing I don't know, whoever mid, but like, spell-based caster sort of
like
thing.
Lux or something in League
Yeah,
of
sure,
Legends
right,
or whatever.
perfect.
Viger.
So imagine someone's playing Lux in a 1v1, and then I go, okay, like this guy's kind of fell for it because I knew he was going to try and pick him. So he started hovering him. So no, I played because it was still a team game. Yeah. I played the equivalent of like Draven.
Okay.
And I got very, very fed.
Yeah.
And was almost two-shotting everyone on the team.
Yeah.
And I got accused of cheating after that.
Because
it was really funny.
Well, look, he shouldn't ask you questions, right? Yeah. Because if he hadn't have asked that question, or whoever it was, then you wouldn't have been... Do you know what I mean? Like, that's sneaky what he did, really.
He just got beat, though, because I played, which was really... I'd already played Smite, so I knew what to do. I built, I think it's like Jablanque, which is a super fast AD carry auto-attack character, and I just slaughtered them all. They accused me of cheating, and then they got kicked out of the tournament.
They got kicked out?
Because they were cheating. Yeah, because his friend was on the other team, yeah, and they were both walking off to one side, and his friend was letting him just kill him over and over and over again. So by accusing me, I had the admins come up to me and saying like, so what have you done? I said, nothing. I played the game. I've killed every single member on their team like 10 times each. My kill score was ridiculous. And I'm playing on an Xbox controller you have given me. It's not mine. I'm not doing anything. It's not my account. So I said, if you want to look at cheaters, ask those two that are friends why they were stood on one side, letting one kill each other over and over again. That's not in the spirit of competition. And then they looked into it and they ended up getting kicked out. Which was really funny. God. But yeah, in the end, to sum it up, I did win. And it was purely because everyone who qualified pretty much only either played FIFA or only played Smash.
Yeah.
Whereas I played Smash a fair bit. I lost at FIFA, but I played Heroes of the Storm, Hearthstone, Smite, all of them. So overall, I just did better in the scores. But it was great.
So for this headline, then, Raven, I might do interview with the UK's best gamer.
It would be true, technically true. That's what I'm saying. If they don't rehost the tournament, that's just my title. That's fair.
Nice. Now I'm going to go back a few years. Now we'll go through a time portal or whatever. So this would be, I think, 15 years ago or so, 2006, and I'm gonna move something, just in light of this. Get a whelp down here, and I'm wearing a Lady Sylvanas top to mark the occasion. So as I said, we first met in World of Warcraft, right, years ago when it was been like 50. I think it was like 2006 or so, and we were in the same guild, like, and it's just so. What a small world. And you were a paladin. Your first character that I knew you as was a paladin called Lutipold, and I was a male paladin, I think, human man paladin, human, and I was a female night elf rogue, blue streak, and it's just weird how things have turned out, right? But we both started in that game and have gone on to get careers in gaming. It's
crazy, isn't it? It's crazy because up until even a few, call it 7 years ago, or maybe longer, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I was working a very like normal person job. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's not like I went from, 18 years old, tried to become a pro player, and that's where I am now. I'm casting. It was like, no, I worked a normal job and went to events on weekends. But yeah, like those WoW days are still just some of the best memories. And just hanging out in Ventrilo, right?
Yeah, Ventrilo, and you say Ventrilo because it's one of my best gaming memories of all time, actually. And number one for World of Warcraft was when we finally killed Ragnaros, and I think you couldn't make it that night to the raid, but you logged in a bit later, and you logged into Ventrilo. For people, young gamers watching this, Ventrilo is kind of like the Discord, right, of back then. It's like TeamSpeak as well. Yeah. You logged in just as we got the killing blow on Ragnaros. Hi guys, how's it going? Yeah, we did it, kind of thing. Yeah. And you're like, what are the chances of that? So that was one of my top memories, getting Ragnaros. And shout out to the guild, the Northern Terror or TNT, back in Thunderhorn EU. It was. I had met a lot of friends, people I'm still friends with today, through that guild, and it was a lot of fun. What were your sort of memories or takeaways? It was a magical game, wasn't it?
It was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, the big one though, just because you talk about Ragnaros, my first raid ever with TNT I was just playing. I wasn't even 60 yet. I was 58, I think.
Yeah,
So because I was way behind, right? I started later than everyone else.
yeah.
So I was way behind. I was 58. I think I was grinding in Eastern Plaguelands or something, just killing ghoul after ghoul. And I got a message saying, "Oh, like Looney, like, do you want to come to MC?" I was like, I think I literally replied, "I can't. I'm 58." And they were like, "No, you can get in. It's fine." Like, and what it was, I think someone had to go, and there was literally no one else online, or no one of like up to like level 58, 60, whatever. So I was like, I mean, if you guys need help, I've never done it before. I don't know what to do, but I'll help you. I got portaled in, right? 58.
Hang on,
never
one
done a
sec.
raid.
Didn't you need to be attuned to MC?
I don't think so, not at that time.
Oh, right. You could just get portaled in. I thought you needed attunement.
I'm sure I went in at 58,
Right.
and then because remember, like, I played quite late into vanilla. I didn't start like vanilla at the beginning. I was like not long before TBC.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they changed anything
right.
like that.
Okay.
But I went in and got brought in on Rag. It was literally the boss fight of Rag. I didn't know what to do, didn't know where I was or anything. Looking around, there's a million players here, which is obviously like the 40-man raid. And I'm like, right, what's going on? And then we were right, just stand there and try and heal. I wasn't even holy.
So you didn't know anything about Sons of Flame and all this nonsense? You must have been scared seeing Ragnaros come out
I was
the lava.
messaging my friend, because the only reason I was in that guild, my friend from college played and got me into the game called Dougal Bomb. He was a warlock. So I was, he was like, yeah, just stand there and try and heal. I was like, okay. I wasn't even holy spec, because I didn't really think about specs back then. I died in like 3 seconds of the fight starting. So I was just a dead body. I was like, this is cool. I was just watching, like moving the camera, watching everyone fling everything at the boss. The boss came out with the lava, of course. And I was like, this is insane. I wish I was alive for it. I was just there, insta died. But that was really crazy. And then there was one day where we were, again, just sort of going through the motions, clearing MC. It's still early on for me. And I think it was my birthday. And we went, and I got like 2 or 3 Lawbringer pieces, which is the tier 1 Paladin gear. And I got like 2 or 3 on that day. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is a good birthday. I'm happy with this. But yeah, honestly, though, it really was just the in-between, kind of just hanging out on Ventrilo with like you, Attila, Kadan, and all them lot. Just chatting while we were doing the sort of mundane vanilla WoW things that took far too long to do. And it was just hanging out. That was really just the best part of the whole game for me.
Yeah, it was an amazing game. I sadly can't go back to Warcraft now, not playing at that kind of level and raiding and stuff, just because with my kids I just don't get time. But I'll always have those memories, you know, and it's just weird how things turn out. You know, here you are, a pro Hearthstone caster, talking about some of these big characters from vanilla and some of the cards we have now, which is amazing. You mentioned Gfinity and a few other things, Raven. The ESL Premiership stands out in my mind. You know, players like Ball Control winning tournaments. And from what I remember, you took part. You were a player for one or two of those
seasons. Yeah. Was it in 1 or 2 of the seasons? I think they did 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And I was playing in 1 or 2 of them. I can't quite remember. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, you'll feel the same, I'm sure. But UK events are always important to me because, one, we don't have that many anymore, but also it's a UK event. It's how I started competing, so it's great. And what ESL were doing was really good, just provide a platform for UK players. And obviously, for example, Ball Control, he went on to become a Grandmaster, and now he works for Blizzard on the design team. So he's doing well out of that. But the Prem was really good. I always, especially because then I wasn't really competing full time.
Right.
I was doing the casting stuff. So then to compete now and again is always super fun. It's something that I even think about to this day. Is like, I wish I could just play in a tournament again, because I'm actually like not allowed. So I actually can't play in any of the qualifiers
because you're a caster now.
Because the problem is, if I tried to qualify for a Masters Tour, I couldn't play in it because I'd probably be casting it.
Yeah.
And then by me entering a qualifier, I'm taking a spot away from someone else who might want to enter. And I'm not going to do that, right? Like, I'm not going to take a spot. I don't need to play. Like, I'm not going to take a spot away, limited spots from someone who really does want to play, qualify, maybe, get to Masters Tour and so on. So,
Yeah.
but there is just always that thing where if there are any tournaments and they're doing some just for fun invitationals, by all means, give me a shout. I'd love to compete. And it'd be fun again.
Do you know the ESL Prem's really impressed me? The stage setups they had. There was one in particular that was amazing. It was set up like the tavern. Like the half tavern.
Wasn't it the one where the guy streaked?
Yeah, so that's on my list here. So this is one of the most unusual news stories I've ever written. And I thought, because I got to the event, I think, a little bit late, I had trouble getting in through the door. I think it was at an MCM Expo. And for some reason, my name wasn't on the guest list at the start. I had to go through the ESL guest list. I had to get someone to come to the front to help get me in. And when I got in, there'd already been a few matches going on. And there was a break on. And people around me were acting a little bit funny, and like I like to think I'm pretty good, pretty intuitive and attentive, and I could tell something was a bit odd. Like people were holding things back from me, they're smirking a little bit. I'm like, what's going on here? But you, thankfully, being someone I've known for a long time, were very honest with me. I can't remember if it was you or someone else. You said, "You've just missed a streak." I was like, what? What? I thought you were joking with me, and I had to go out into the audience to ask a few people just to double check, right? Just not that I don't trust
sources.
you. It's just, I had to check before I wrote something, and then there were a few people in the audience saying, "Yeah, it was weird. Some guy just ran on the stage naked." I was like, "What? This is the weirdest thing." So I
in
wrote
a Hearthstone tournament as well. That's what really is strange, isn't it? Of all the things you wouldn't have guessed. It's like someone doing it at a chess tournament. It's like, what?
What on earth? And the thing that I found a bit funny as well was that, I heard mixed reports. I heard that Matt Loftus at ESL bundled the guy off the stage. But I also heard there was someone that said to me, he was a guy cosplaying as a Jedi. He said he got the guy off stage. So, of course, the journalist in me thought, Streaker bundled off stage by Jedi at ESL Hearthstone finals was like crazy, and it got picked up by PC Gamer and a few other sites picked it up. What actually? Who was the hero then, Raven?
So the problem is, right? I'm not 100% sure because I was just backstage, right?
Oh, okay.
So the way I knew it, or at least the way, so I kind of was around, but was not at the audience-facing angle, thank God.
Yeah.
So I understand that one of the ESL, like the stage like the stage staff, the support staff, I was under the impression one of those got rid of him.
Yeah.
But I did not see it, so maybe I was just told that because that's what they wanted me to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was strange because the event was smooth. The audience was great. It was having a good time. Like you said, the stage was pretty cool. It was the ESL finals. It was great. Those Comic-Con and stuff going on outside. It was a great event. But it was so random.
And it was in a break, wasn't it? So the streaker picked the wrong time.
I think what it was it was like either before the second semi-final or in the break before the final. Where okay, we're not going to make a player play in the semi and then straight into the next match. We'll give them like 10-15 minute break. But it was a chunk of a break there where everyone was just waiting around to get ready for the finals, I think. But it was just so weird. This guy just jumps onto the stage naked. And the worst part was, I don't know if you remember, the trophy, which was pretty big, was on a podium in the middle of the stage.
Did he wear the hat? He wore the trophy, apparently, the top of the trophy.
Yeah, I think he went to pick the trophy up and mess with it, and it was like, oh. Luckily, it was fine and it got dealt with very quickly, but it was so weird. Just like a Hearthstone tournament, it's just a streaker. You just wouldn't guess, would you?
Yeah, and it's just odd. Why would a streak? Usually a streaker will streak during a sporting event to get on the cameras, right? But the fact that this person ran on the stage, this guy ran on the stage during a break, means he's either not very smart or is just not thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't even on camera, right?
No,
because
it wasn't.
It would have been shown. So they did have audience shots, like now and again, but I'm pretty sure because it was a longer break, they went to like a break slate on stream. So it's not as if, you're right. It's not as if the only attention he got was from the random people in the crowd. So it's not worth it.
And the article I wrote, which people
true.
were kicking off on Twitter saying, "What on earth is going on?" It sounds like really funny. I don't think ESL really wanted me to cover that because giving negative attention to a tournament. But
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of just funny, isn't it? it's not like he hurt anyone. You know what I
No.
mean? It's not anything like that. It was just a funny, weird moment.
Yeah, could have hurt people's eyes. Maybe.
Yeah, I
Who
mean,
they were
yeah, maybe
looking at him.
mentally scarred people, but not physically.
Oh dear. So on the ESL Prem days, we've spoken about Insomnia. I think it's great that Insomnia had a Truesilver Championship that had a $30,000 prize pool, I believe, which attracted some bigger players. We don't often get prize pools like that, even now in the UK. So that was pretty good to see. But do you miss them? You know, we don't really get many Hearthstone tournaments anymore. Even Insomnia before the pandemic, I don't know how big it was then. I don't think it was that big anymore.
It went off pretty quickly when I think when Game took over, there was definitely less of a focus, I think, on tournaments in general. I don't know if you'll agree because you cover a lot more, obviously, than I see. But I feel like when Game took over, it was way more of like an expo and less about the LAN side of it. The LAN was probably there to just keep the money flowing because those LAN tickets aren't cheap. So that was definitely disappointing, especially because, like I said, I came up in Insomnia. That's where I won placed one in my first tournament and everything like that. So I do miss the Truesilver Championship. That was great. And it did bring everyone. We had world champions there. We had the likes of, Firebat, Live Coach, Dog. RDU won the second one, if my memory's good enough. And it was really, really good. And I think the setup was great. Like the backdrop of the caster area was the LAN. So it looked great on camera. The prize pool was fantastic. But honestly, I think with how Hearthstone's been over the past few years in competitive, because the Grandmasters seasons are 8 weeks straight every weekend, more or less. And then there's Masters Tours, which is another 6 weekends. The actual available time for third parties is quite limited in the year.
Right.
And I think Blizzard... I don't speak for Blizzard. I'm just putting that as a general comment right now. I work for myself, and nothing I say is Blizzard or anything. But from my understanding is that a lot of the third-party tournaments now are midweek because they don't or aren't allowed to clash with Grandmasters, for example. Or they have to be in the few weeks where Grandmasters or a Masters Tour isn't happening. And the problem with that is because they're all first-party Blizzard events, they just won't want major third parties running tournaments on the same weekend to compete. That's just logical, right? And I think because of that, I know DreamHack sort of scaled back a fair bit and almost all of it on Hearthstone because there was 1 year where I think 2 or 3 of their DreamHacks clashed with a Hearthstone first party event, and they were basically like, well, no, you're not doing it sort of thing because they don't want anything to clash. So I think really it's down to that. And there are some third-party events. There's some cool team leagues that go on. There's some good qualifiers that go on as well with their Battle Riff. They do some good work as well. But the biggest problem is a lot of it's midweek. And then you go, okay, well, do sponsors want to sponsor a Wednesday night broadcast? Probably not, in general or for any significant amount of money. So I think it's all just added together with the change of Hearthstone formats over the last couple of years and the timings and the amount of time Hearthstone takes up. It's just difficult for third parties, or especially sponsors, to want to get involved. So that's why the third-party prize pools probably took a hit in the last few years.
I see, yeah. And it's interesting what you're saying about Insomnia. For me, it's a bit of both. I think Game Belong, I think the Belong Arena's name, they had some nice tournaments and finals, and I like the idea of having a national tournament, different areas of different game stores competing, and then the finalists get to go to Insomnia. I like that, but it wasn't with games like Hearthstone, it was a few other games. But yeah, and then I did see, with Game taking over, they had their Player One events, and I think Craig Fletcher, the founder of Insomnia, he did help Game a little bit here and there and had more of like a consultancy role, as I understand it. But now he's come back. This was announced a few weeks ago.
I saw that. I saw that. It's really good.
So yeah, Game have sold Insomnia, so maybe things are going to go back to how they were a little bit in the past. Be interesting to see how things go. I know, as I understand it, they want to bring back an event this year, but it depends on government guidelines, right? When will that be? It's unlikely it's going to be August now because it's only like a few months away, but we'll see. It'd be nice to be able to meet up again, and if there is Hearthstone things, You know, I'm just looking forward to being able to go to events again. You know, if there is any Hearthstone or Blizzard things in the UK, maybe we can meet up. You know,
Yeah.
have a pint or whatever. It's been a long time, and I miss that part of
Yeah,
esports.
100%. I mean, I used to, for Grandmasters, which again is 8 weeks, the first year I was in Taiwan. I lived there for like 16 weeks, 17 weeks a year, which was a lot of travel, of course. And then my job for years has been flying around every other week to who knows where every time. But now, although we're doing it from home, the fact that we can do it from home is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like it would pain me if we couldn't do it. There is an element where like from going to traveling all year every year to just nothing is such a big jump, right? Sometimes in the past when I've traveled a lot, I think my longest stint was to Poland for a weekend, and then to America for a weekend, then to China for a week and a half, then to Poland for a weekend, then home. So we literally did the circle around the globe within 2-3 weeks, which was rough. And although it's tiring, and there are times where it's like, I wish I could just lie at home for like 3 weeks straight for once. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, well, I just missed the effect of a live event, right? Like casting a live event with a crowd, with players actually on site and everything is something you can't really replace, right?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. There's a question here, just out of interest as well. Did you cast the recent Grandmasters from home? Or were
Yes.
You... Right, okay.
Yes. So last year and this year have been from home, all of it. Blizzard made the decision very early on to say, Grandmasters, we can cast from home, so we will. Because it's doable, there's not a big deal. Like, for example, Grandmasters, when it wasn't cast from home, when I was in Taiwan, the players were still at home. So as you can imagine, well, okay, all it is we'll send the casters back home, give them all the gear to set up that's on now, and it's close to the same thing, apart from the casters aren't in a studio together, and the production obviously can't be quite as fancy. But outside of that, it was a logical decision. So yeah, the past year and like a year and a half, I guess, has all been from home now for Grandmasters.
Yeah, okay. Now, there's a word I want to mention. It's a 6-letter word, and you may have some history with it. What comes to your mind when I say the word shaman?
Oh, okay. So, yeah, this is... It's funny because I still get people going at me today for this stuff, and it is so weird. Like, so basically, as you can probably tell already, there's shaman and there's shaman, right? Two different ways to say the word. Generally, shaman is like has a British sort of UK origin, and then shaman is almost everywhere else. Not literally everywhere else, but almost. So again, shaman is a class in WoW. It's a class in Hearthstone. There are times where I have to say it a lot, and all of my co-casters say shaman. Everyone I think I've ever cast with say shaman. Yeah. Even the UK guys, they all say shaman.
I think they're wrong.
Well, I think what it is, it's the idea of language where usage decides everything, right?
Right.
So if the majority of people say one thing one way, then that is now correct. Whether you want to say it's technically correct or not, if everyone uses it, well, the people have decided, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just say shaman because that's what I've always said. And I'm not gonna I feel weird about changing something that's not technically wrong. Like, if something's wrong, then I'll fix it. But it's not technically wrong, and I feel like weird about changing that. So The Curve, which is the show I do for Grandmasters, is sponsored, last year was sponsored by T-Mobile, right? But it was an American T-Mobile sponsorship. So when I did the intro, you obviously have to shout out the sponsor. I literally had to say T-Mobile because it's the American way, right? That pained me, but it makes sense because it's American portion of the sponsor.
Yeah.
They pay, they can have their own company said how they want.
Yeah.
In general, people are like, oh, shaman, they always type it like the Pokemon shaman, which is not even spelt how I would say it anyway. But yeah, people get very angry. Why didn't you learn to speak English? I was like, what? And then I always point out that in the WoW cinematic where, I think it's Cataclysm, where Thrall does the elements thing and summons Ragnaros. And Ragnaros says puny shaman or something to him. And it's like, it literally says it in a Blizzard game that says shaman. Oh, no, you're wrong. You're just stupid. I'm like, okay. But the way I see it now is like it's just funny because one, it's like what you're saying earlier with pitcasters getting things wrong. If it bothers people that much that now and again I say Shaman, and that ruins their experience, then I worry for them, honestly. And if people want to put the effort into like messaging in chat or Twitter or whatever, like, oh, Shaman, I'm like, okay, carry on with your day. Like, it's strange, isn't it?
It is. To me, you're saying you're pronouncing it correctly, and your pinned tweet has been your pinned tweet for ages, and it says, it links to a pronunciation site where it says UK Shaman, US Shaman. Is that right? Yeah, US is Shaman.
Yeah.
Now, how do you say mana? Because for me, I say mana, but I have some friends that say mana.
Yeah, I say mana.
Yeah.
Sol, who casts with me, I think says mana, but
Right.
he's down south, so he does the like garage or like grass, like that sort
That's
of.
how I
Well, it's
say it.
not him specifically,
the
but I
thing
would
is-
just say grass garage. But then I get called like a common northerner, so it depends.
Yeah, but I say mana, but I say grass.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe you're the strange one here. not
Maybe,
me.
yeah. I mean, I've got northern friends from uni, and they will say grass, bath,
Yeah.
whereas I say grass and bath, but I won't
Right.
say mana. It doesn't sound right. It's like Mario. No, it's Mario.
Mario. Like, that's too long.
Yeah,
You
it
need to
doesn't.
stretch it out.
And then the other argument I'd say to the people that say you're wrong, Raven, is that on that pronunciation website, I looked at some other similar words to shaman. Shamanistic in the US is not shamanistic, it's shamanistic, even in the US pronunciation, and shamanism. So I'm on your side with that, Raven. I'm not just saying it, but good for you for standing up and not standing your ground and not changing.
I just think it's weird because imagine, for example, and again, Blizzard have never asked me to change the way I speak, right? So don't get the wrong impression. But like you say bath, right?
Yeah.
So imagine if you were on a broadcast and your producer or whatever's like, you've got to say bath. Do it again. You've got to say bath. Like, you'd be like, what? No. Like, you completely change the way you speak. Okay, now I want an American accent. Okay, now it's from somewhere else. Now do a Swedish accent. It's like, that's just how each person speaks. It doesn't bother me when like, I don't know, one of the casters, TJ, he I'm not sure where he's from, but he lived in California for a very long time. And there's a player called Orange, right? A big Hearthstone player. And TJ, Orange is the way he'll say it. And I'm not like, I'm upset. Yeah. He's not said it how I wanted him to say it. It's like, why are people bothered? It's so weird.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh more than anything. Yeah. I got told the other day in someone's stream, I was watching a Hearthstone stream, and it came up again, as it does sometimes. And so I was like, okay, I won't repeat what I said to this person, but I basically said, like, because this person was going at me, like, weirdly a lot, right? He was getting pretty aggressive about it. So I said, look, like, I don't give a whatever about what you think. I'll say it however I want, right? I'm going to report you to Blizzard for that. That's not how the casters should talk to people. I said, good in luck, right? Because it's like, what? One, why are you bothered? And two, why are you bothered enough to like threaten me with a report?
That's crazy.
To a company that hires me? Yeah. What's wrong with people, right?
But everyone has different accents and dialects. You shouldn't try to.
But I just find it funny because like this person is sat there, and this is not just me. Like these conversations happen about everything to everyone. People with too much time on their hands, but he sat there like getting angry. This guy's a shaman. I'm really upset. And it's like,
in a way, right? When I see this, Raven, right? When I see people getting upset about games and things in this way, trivial things that don't really matter, like this, for example. In a way, I have to look at it positively, in that there isn't enough in those people's lives to complain about other things. So the trivial things, video games pronunciations, becomes a major molehill.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a bit jealous because if that's the worst thing they've got to worry about, they're doing all right. You know what I mean? If that's the thing that really annoys them, this guy that I watch maybe once a week for probably 10 minutes, says Shaman now and again. It's not like it comes up every 2 seconds, right? It's now and again. It's like, oh, I'm so angry. It's the worst thing that's happened to me today. You know what? Good job on your life then, because you must be living the life if that's the stressful thing going on. Wow.
And also,
good job.
I am assuming, that's just an assumption from me, that by all means, they might have other things in their life, but maybe that's important to them, you know, the game stuff.
But there are plenty of people who just like say it and it's like, you know, Shaman, KW, blah, blah, and just have a laugh with it, which doesn't bother me in any way.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times, like I will purposely, if I'm in a chat and someone says something, I'll purposely type it like SHAYMAN, you know, like because people joking around, I'm a caster, right? I've heard much worse. But it's just when people like want to really go in at you, it's like, do you really need to? Just like say, oh, Shaman's dumb, and then just leave it at that, right? That's fine. We all laugh. We have a good time. Move on. Because stuff like that does not bother me at all.
No, I think if I'm ever interviewed on a car, if you know, or I do a video, maybe I should do an experiment and call Rogue Rouge and see how people react. Back in the day, people used to call that, didn't they? They'd type it wrong.
It was the typing, wasn't it? Yeah.
Rouge people and all that.
Spell it,
On UK talent, Raven, we've had some good UK talent in Hearthstone. You got your co-caster Sottle, right, Simon, and there's a few others. You know, like we've mentioned, Board Control. I want to give a shout out to Paradox for Vexed Gaming, who's done quite well over the years. I think won a few ESL Prems, has qualified for the Masters Tour Dalaran. Are there any other UK players or talent we should be aware of in sort of current Hearthstone?
Yeah, 100%. So there's a player called Deadraw who's UK, and he is basically if you want to say it just to make it simple, like the next Ball Control, basically.
Okay.
He's done really well in Masters tours. He's like one of the best players who isn't a Grandmaster yet.
Yeah.
So there's him, and also talent-wise, especially there's Lorinda, a UK talent who casts some of America's. He casts Masters tours as well, and he also does all of the stats for us every single week of Grandmasters. He's in the back end doing all the stats and setting us up, so he does a great job. And also Derek, who casts the Asia Pacific Grandmasters. He joined the casting life a little bit later than us, but pretty early on. Sol, especially Sol and myself, like we knew he was good, so we pushed him a little bit for more stuff, and now he's casting like he does what we do. He just does it for APAC. He's very, very good, and we're getting to the point where like me and Sol are becoming the old timers. I think like we're both moving towards mid-30s now, and it's like we're looking at.
Are you? I thought you were. I don't know why. I thought you were late 20s or something.
I'm 32 very soon.
Are you?
So we're getting there, yeah.
Okay.
I think Sol's a couple of years older than me, but when we were talking about this the other day, when we're sat here, like, you know, casting the game, and Gabby, who's a French player, who's the player at the moment, I would say, doing very, very well. He won the last Masters tour. I think he hit Legend, I think, when he was like 10 or something.
Dear.
And then he's like just rank 1 Legend every month whenever he wants. He's probably done enough already without this Masters tour coming up to make it to GM. So he's going to be a Grandmaster. I think he's like 16 at the moment. He's just Grandmaster, and it's just like he's incredible. And we're like double his age. And it's like
crazy, isn't it?
Oh, time's moving on, isn't it? It's
it
scary.
Is. Yeah, no, do you know what? And shout out to the Hearthstone talent, because I think Hearthstone has drawn a real like nice eclectic bunch of people. We've had big names like Creparian come through the Hearthstone and go on to do other things. I know he's focused very much on the that new mode in Hearthstone.
Battlegrounds.
Battlegrounds, that's it, sort of battle royale style thing. And you know, it's good to see. It's got a nice mix of people in the Hearthstone community, I think.
It's really good, because I think one thing that's pretty clear, and this pulls in from different circumstances and different events that have happened, but everyone's pretty aggressive in dealing with idiots. So if anyone is, you know, for want of a better word, like acts like an arsehole, but in like a seriously bad way, they get like pushed out.
Yeah.
So because for example, all the streamers, you'll open up the Hearthstone category, and I can only really speak for the English speaking streamers. Obviously, I don't really watch other languages because I can't.
Yeah.
But for the community that's generally like that cut of streamers, they're pretty much all friends. So if they all look out for each other, which is really cool. They're constantly cross hosting everyone. They're trying to run events, do some cool stuff. So there's a lot of just I don't know, like overall teamwork, because everyone wants to make the game good, right? Wants to make the game successful, wants to make the content good. So in general, we all hold each other accountable for like not doing the right thing. So it's a good thing.
And on that note, this segues in quite nicely to this. This was something I noticed back in April. Kriparian and Regis Kilbin, I hope I've pronounced that right, gave up their Crossroads Invitational slots to help make Hearthstone more diverse, because there were people saying, oh look, there's 18 guys in this tournament and only 2 women. So those 2 streamers gave up their slots so that 4 women could take part and make it more diverse. And there are some good female players, right? There's the world champion from, I think it was 2 years ago. Forgive me, people viewing this, I've forgotten her name. And then there's Luna as well, and people like that.
Yeah, Lion from China won. She was the first female champion.
Yeah,
Luna's fantastic, of course. There are a load of great female players, and the thing is, and I guess the uproar. Well, one, good job for Crip and Regis, of course. Like giving up the spot, very nice thing to do. But not long after that, there was a Battlegrounds Invitational where it was 50-50. It was half women, half men, which was again a step in the right direction. And I think the tough thing to understand, and I've still got learning to do, as we all have about these things, but like the goal isn't to solidly say there always has to be a 50-50 split no matter what. The goal is to like just make things more welcoming to everyone, right? Because like I've seen it, and like my girlfriend plays Valorant, right? And I play with it. The amount, as soon as voice chat, as soon as it's just made a call, it's get back in the kitchen, or F you and do this, and all things I won't repeat in this interview, of course, you can imagine. And it's like all she did was like say hello or make a call or say, they're coming out. That's it. And it's just as bad everywhere else. It's not just for it's for everyone. And the thing is, it's just one thing I like about games is that doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter really how old you are, doesn't matter what you do for a job, doesn't matter about anything. You just want to play some games and have a good time, right? Look at us, like we met, right? I didn't know where you lived, I didn't know your real name, I didn't know what you did, but we just had a good time chatting and playing games, right? It doesn't matter about anything else, right? It doesn't matter where you're from or anything like that. And that should continue, right? That is the good thing about games. And I think right now there's like, you're always going to get the complaints of, Blizzard or company X, whatever, forcing just too many women in because they're not even good, or they're just trying to make up the numbers. And it's like, well, one, they are pretty good. Like some of the players they had in are like hit rank 1 legend, which most of the male play, 99.9% of the male player base can't ever do. But it's also just like things need to be normalized, and to do so, you have to give it a push, right? Like you can't just sit back and expect things to deal with themselves, because they clearly won't, as we can see what the situation is in many games, in all games right now. So again, I'm no expert on the subject. I've not, outside of witnessing the problems from my view, but I just think overall it's just crazy, and I think punishments need to be way harsher.
Yeah, they do. And because I get the impression that some of the game publishers are cautious to increase punishments for the fear of lowering their player base. And if that's the case, that's really wrong. That's just the impression I get. I could be wrong about that.
And I hate that. And it's my same approach to, because I mainly when I'm not casting, when I'm not doing like a Grandmaster season, I stream. And my stream is very simple rules. If you're an idiot, you're banned permanently. There's no questions. Like if I deem you to not be like a reasonable person, you're done. Whereas I've seen a lot of streams, people just let things go. And it's like, well, why? Like this, you clearly don't, like I've seen it in streams where I know the person streaming would not agree with what's being said, but they're not being banned. Why?
It's not good.
Because they're scared to lose viewership, probably, or they're scared, well, that's one less viewer. And then some other people might stop and so on. Same with game companies, like, for example, Valorant. Like, it's one good thing about Hearthstone. You have to add someone for them to send you a message.
Yeah.
Without that, you can't interact with someone outside of emotes. But in like Val, like if they say some of the things or type some of the things I see probably on a daily basis, just ban them. Or perma-ban them for a week. Or, well, it's not perma. Ban them for a week. If they do it again, well, they're just an idiot, aren't they?
Yeah.
So get rid, ban their account, say unlucky. If you make a new account, good luck. If you do it again, that'll be banned. Like, I don't know. To me, I would be super harsh because there's no room to be an idiot to people for no reason. Like, it's crazy.
Just out of interest, can I ask what you or what your girlfriend does when they encounter things like that? Because I had a lesson when I played a bit of Valorant with Yinsu Collins. Shout out to Yinsu. She's a journalist and host also in Valorant. And, you know, we were in a lobby where some guy started saying some silly or sexist or not very nice stuff. And I said to Sue, let's just block this guy. Like I can already tell what this match is going to be like. I'm just going to mute him now. And I thought Sue had done the same, but she wasn't. She was talking to him throughout the match. And she said to me afterwards, you know, muting isn't always, blocking isn't always the answer. You've got to tell these people. But for me, like, yeah, I can hear where she's coming from, but then I also have the line of thinking that some of these people won't learn. But then her point is, well, if you don't try,
right,
they'll never learn, kind of thing. So it's interesting to see what your view is.
Yeah, there's levels, right? Like there's like if someone just says, oh, you know, oh, go to the kitchen or whatever, you know, make a sandwich. And what's worse is like, oh, I've not heard that before. You know what I mean? Like, come on. But on initially, it'll just be like, oh, just I won't repeat what I actually do say to these people. But I try to be calm about it, or we try to be calm and just be like, look, just stop being an asshole. Like, let's just play. We're just here to play. We all want to win. Yeah, let's just play. Right, it doesn't matter. But if they push it, I'll either like purposely make them look stupid by just because these people aren't clever, right? Like they're not intelligent beings at all. So it's easy to make them look dumb. So I either like turn the rest of the lobby on them just for fun, which is probably a bit mean. Or if they get to the point where they're because you get people that just scream down the mic, right? Then it's just mute them. Or I'll ask them a question and then mute them instantly, and then I'm pretty sure they keep trying to like get my attention again. Void. So what you initially engage them to make them think you will talk back and then hit mute. Perfect. But honestly, a lot of the time it's just it's tough though because I get really annoyed when I see it in games, and it's not even aimed at me. You know what I mean? It doesn't like I'm one of those like I'm a fortunate person where a lot of the time if people shout at me it's because for game reasons and not anything else. But I can't even imagine what it's like to be on the actual receiving end of it because it's day in, day out. It's ridiculous. Like I just don't know what's wrong with people.
No, it's crazy. I did an article the other day from a report that I can't remember what the percentage was now, 40 or 50% of women gamers mask their voice online because they don't want abuse kind of thing. And I don't blame them for doing that, but they shouldn't have to do it. It's a shame, isn't it? It's you know,
it's ridiculous. But again, it's one of those weird things where I'm only using Valorant as an example because it's the game I probably played the most that's not Hearthstone right now. I'm under the impression that Riot can track voice comms. Also, I know for a fact they can track text, right? Because that just makes sense. Like, why? Like, you report someone, I'm pretty sure nothing happens, even though there's just proof in that one game, proof alone, that people have said horrible things, whether it's racist things, sexist things, or just like, you know, death threats and things like that. And I'm just like, you're just pretty sure they're just not going to be banned, right? There's no, or at least up until now, there's been no confirmation. You know, you get in League where the player's been punished or whatever. There's none of that. Which
I rarely get that. I've reported quite a few people over the years for saying nasty things. I don't really see that message.
But that's the thing. I don't really know how they can't be banned, right? They're literally giving like death threats or whatever online. You've got proof because it's your game. Ban them. Like, I know they won't want to lose money or whatever, but it's just one of those things where why would you expect people to stop? Like me and you, we can be in chat and try and just reasonably talk to people and stop it. But if the company's not doing anything, then, well, there's no punishment then, is there? Because me or you getting angry or talking to someone or telling someone to shut up is not a real punishment. Like, they'll probably just laugh, you know, back because that's the type of person they are. But if the company isn't doing anything, then it's just going to continue, isn't it? It's like if you ran a tournament and you were the tournament runner, someone comes up to you and saying, this person punched me, who's another competitor, because I beat them, and you went, well. It's like, well, they'll just do it again. If they're not being kicked out, then they'll do it again, won't they? So it's just a shame. And like I said, I only have a limited sort of sideways vision or view on what happens daily, whereas women and everything, like they every day, game after game, it's honestly worth a celebration when we get in a game and there's just 3 people who are like, hey guys, how's it going? Oh yeah, okay, like, let's go, hey, blah, blah, and have a normal game conversation. The game ends, win or lose, GG, good game guys, done. And that's like, oh, we got one. It's like, it's a miracle, the first one this week, and it shouldn't be like that, but that's just how it is right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the women gamers I've spoken to that I've said this abuse they get online, do they get this in events, in tournaments, in physical tournaments? And they're like, no, never. I'm not saying harassment doesn't exist, but in a way, I guess that's separate to this. What we're talking about is verbal abuse and nastiness.
And it's because all these people are just idiots and morons, right? Like, it's the same as, I imagine if people were aggressive or, talking all their rubbish on Twitter or whatever, if they were saying stuff to me, I bet 99% of them wouldn't actually come up to me at an event and say it, because they're just scared, right? Like, they just wouldn't do it. They're only saying and doing and acting this way because they can get away with it, right? It's the same thing where if all these kids or even, adults, whatever, are talking all this, sexist rubbish, it's as simple as like, so if their mum was stood behind them, would they say it?
Yeah.
Like, or the sister? Like, no. It's like, do you tell your sister to get back in the kitchen? I doubt it. Do you tell her that she's these terrible names? I doubt it. And that's just, it's because it's like too safe for them, right? They can just hide behind the keyboard. So
yeah, absolutely. Raven, I'm conscious of your time. Thank you for giving up your time. There's a few other bits on my list. I'll try and whittle through these quickly.
Sure, yeah. Don't worry about me, but I know I do like to ramble on. So
no, it's
tell
good.
me to stop if you want me to.
I'm happy. I'm happy to go on for a little bit longer. But yeah, there's only a few more on my list.
Sure.
One here was a talking point I wanted to talk about because this generated a lot of headlines over the past week, and this is the recent Grandmasters final. The French player Blaise, he rage quit in the final against Spain's Frenetic. Now, I say rage quit, League of Legends players sometimes do it, right? Before the end of the match, they say, so-and-so has quit the game, right? He's quit the game, and then it's had to come up with a connection lost bit. It's just not, in my opinion, not a very sportsmanlike way of doing things, and it got a lot of headlines, and I thought you and Sottle dealt with it very professionally. And is that frustrating for you that all the headlines are going to be about that one moment? Are there other memories from that tournament or things you want to shout about?
So personally, it's only frustrating to say, I can't speak for Sottle, but I'm sure we're on the same page. It's frustrating for us because the general flow of a game is you build up to the end, and especially it was a grand final. It was the winner of the whole season, right? That and Frenetic, the winner, gets a spot at the World Championships this year. It's the biggest win he's ever going to have, right? Apart from winning Worlds, obviously. Yeah. So big moment, you build up to it as a storyteller, right? And then you have your payoff. The game ends, victory, fantastic, full screen cam of the player, great. That was basically removed from that last game because the issue is, and I'll say this in Blaise's defense.
Yeah.
Whenever Blaise ends a match, and he's done this all season since he's been a GM, he effectively alt F4s. And when they go to his camera, it's frozen because obviously he's closed it all. It's done. And it's something he does every time. Win or loss. It's not like he does it only when he loses. Yeah. If he wins, he just boom, alt F4 straight away and he's done. So that's something he does do. But the frustration is we just didn't get the payoff for Frenetic. It's not us, like, we're fine. But for Frenetic, we didn't get that payoff moment. There is an interview with Frenetic coming out that I did, so don't worry about that. Good. That was done, like, straight after the finals. Yeah. But the frustration really is for Frenetic, because there's that moment, because it doesn't happen in Hearthstone. When someone in a friendly game leaves a match, the game pauses and will not continue until the person's back. Okay. And the issue was the game hadn't ended, so technically Blaise could reconnect. So it's not like Frenetic could alt F4
But he was going to win on the next round, wasn't he? The next
Frenetic had won 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
There was never even a question. Frenetic won the game and won the match. But until an admin tells Frenetic that he's allowed to leave and he has won, he's just sat there, right?
That's not very nice, is it?
Yeah. So it was unfortunate. It did suck a little bit for Frenetic, but Frenetic still did win, right? He still got his spot Worlds. The frustration, I think, was Blythe basically made a tweet straight after he lost saying, "I want to die," which isn't a very positive mentality tweet to make. And the response from a good chunk of Twitter, a mixture of Hearthstone people and normal people, I'll call them, that like giving Blythe rubbish for like, "Oh, I can't believe you did that, so unsportsmanship, so salty, like you've just stolen that like moment from Frenetic, blah blah blah, you should be punished, blah blah blah," so on. Gave him a lot of crap, right? And fair enough, it was a bit of a stupid move to make, right? He shouldn't have done it, emotional state or not. He shouldn't have done it, that's just true. But what's frustrating, I think, we felt it was that no one's talking about Frenetic. Like you're now getting angry at Blythe for taking a moment away from Frenetic, but now you're all tweeting Blythe and no one's saying anything about Frenetic.
It's negative attention, but it's still attention to him.
Yeah, so it's just like everyone just like, great job Frenetic. He played really well. He recovered the season really well. His lineup was great. Looking forward to seeing him at Worlds. And it's like, just congratulate Frenetic. And if Blythe is going to get punished for it, which I don't know, but not my job to know, right? That's Blizzard, that's the admins, that's the tournament team. They will decide if there's a punishment, what the punishment will be, whatever. It's not for us to decide or talk about, like or know until it gets announced, right? So the real frustration just was that, it was a stupid thing for Blythe to do, but then everyone else diving on it is like, well, now you just make it worse, right? Like, just just say, okay, that was dumb. It was a dumb thing to do. But I don't think Blythe sat there and was like, I'm going to upset Frenetic now. F4. I think Blythe, basically the last 2 games of the best of 5, Blythe may as well not had a mouse because there's nothing he could do about it. He got destroyed, and there was no way he could answer it. So it was frustrating for him, right? You have 2 almost non-games of Hearthstone to end the match to get to Worlds. So he just like literally, boom, I'm done, whatever, I've lost, go. So it's not like, I don't think he sat there and thought, this is going to really upset Frenetic and annoy him or whatever. He's just naturally gone, boom. He does what he does at the end of every game. Like, just presses it, walks off, done. And for me, it's just the focus should be on Frenetic. He did great. He's the one going to Worlds, good season. If Blythe is going to get punished or not, don't know, but we'll find out. Like, who cares?
Are there any other highlights, Raven, or anything in the meta? Because we haven't spoken much about Hearthstone as a game. I really like the game. I play Rogue and Mage and pretty religiously. Playing Priest makes me feel bad about myself.
Dirty.
Yeah, dirty is the word. Absolutely, I like it in a way, but I secretly like it, but I don't like to play it that much. But I'm not down with the meta because I haven't played since the Wailing Caverns mini set. I quite like the Barons update and Mankrik and other cards like that, but I'm a very low level sort of silver gold player, but I play it just for fun. Any other memories from the tournament or general thoughts on Hearthstone and the current meta? So
I think the mini set, although hasn't had a completely meta altering effect, I think that's probably good, because a mini set shouldn't. A mini set should just give a little nudge to a certain thing. Shaman is playable now, as it wasn't before, so there's actually a good deck you can play if you like that class. But overall for the tournament, this year we changed up the format, where instead of previous years we had 3 weeks of Swiss between the Grandmasters, so 3 separate Swiss tournaments. They then placed you into Division A or B based on performance, and then they played out round robin or whatever it went from there. This year we're actually doing 7 Swiss tournaments, so every week is its own tournament between the 16 Grandmasters, and where you place gets you points, and then the top 8 players of points earned at the end of the season play in the playoffs, which was last weekend. And the bottom 4 in points relegated and done. They're out. And then the new 4 come in next season. So it was really cool, because for me, we've had round robin in the past, and it just gets a bit like, well, this match doesn't matter. because that's you naturally get that, right, where it's not going to make an impact. Whereas this, every week is a tournament, so every week there's a winner, which again in round robin you don't have an actual end cap, I guess, on the week. It's just, well, there's more matches next week and again the week after. So here we had a winner every week. There was some great storylines, like Tice, for example, winning multiple weeks. Blitzchung over in APAC won back-to-back weeks, which is really impressive, like 16-man Swiss into groups, and you won 2 in a row, which is great. So yeah, just the format overall, I think, was the big kickoff here. And we changed play formats. So Conquest for a few weeks, Specialist for a couple of weeks, Last Year Outstanding for a couple of weeks. So it keeps everything fresh. And because they're having these weekly tournaments to decide who makes it, you can track someone's progression. Like Frenetic didn't have a good start to the season. He didn't make it on stream that much, which was the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He didn't do too well on points. But then the last half of the season, he really picked it up, and now he's going to Worlds. So it's really good in the fact that you can have a rough season and still make it. It's not like, oh, I did bad in the first couple of weeks, I'm out now. And these next 5 weeks don't matter. Like, every week can change everything, which is really exciting, especially going to season 2.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned Blitzchung there. Is he unbanned now? Because that was 1 year he's banned, wasn't he, for saying those comments?
Yes and no.
Right.
It was weird. So I think the ban was 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
But the ban was after season 2. And the time between season 2 of 1 year and season 1 of another is approximately 6 months.
I see.
So I believe he couldn't play in like Masters tours, but he was a GM anyway, so he didn't need to qualify. And the ban ended before the next season started.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will.
And he hasn't made any comments since he's sort of...
Well, there's actually no interviews anymore. No live interviews in GM anymore.
Oh, because of that incident, I guess. Yeah.
No comment.
No comment.
But yeah, we don't do live interviews anymore. But again, so we've not done them actually since the Blitzchung incident. But this week we had pre-recorded interviews we did after every day, so which we then showed before the semi-finals of each player. So it was really nice. And fingers crossed, we plan to do that way more next season. Yeah. So interviews are coming back. It's just they won't be live because, as well, there are, as you probably well know, there are certain difficulties in getting good live interviews when, for example, the casters aren't even in a studio. So me and Sottle are in 2 different places. The play's in a different place. The production's in a different place. And hooking up live interviews in a reasonable time limit with no issues is pretty difficult. So again, it's not the worst thing. And but yeah, we are planning on doing way more interviews next season. So we're getting them back. People request them a lot. Yeah. But they will probably be pre-recorded.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good. Just lastly, Raven, it's interesting to know what your favourite class is, or maybe what's your favourite class and favourite card?
Oh, okay. So favorite class, most people that like watch me or have heard me cast will know this. It's just Hunter's favorite class, easy. I have I think I'm up to over 6,000 wins on Hunter now. Oh my god! And that's just wins, not the many losses. Oh my god. But yeah, so Hunter's by far my favorite, even though it's not always the best. Favorite card.
That's hard, isn't it? Because there's so many cards now in the wild format and then also standard. But it can be wild, of course. You know, when I was thinking of this question, I was thinking, what's my favourite card? And I'm not actually sure.
There's been so many. There's been literal hundreds.
I like Ragnaros, you know. I like the classic because sometimes you'll put that down. And I like the RNG of it. I know some people don't like RNG, Deck of Lunacy and so on. Yeah. People didn't like. But I like Ragnaros because for me it's a game turner. When it looks like they've done a really good turn.
Have you seen the diamond one?
No.
Seen the diamond cards?
What have they announced?
So have you seen any of the diamonds?
I've seen the new ones for the Barons, but I didn't know there was diamond versions of classics.
There's Brakan and there's Samuro, Blademaster Samuro, which is in standard. Yeah. And there's Ragnaros. Oh, so there's Ragnaros, or there's No, I'm sure there is now. Yeah. There's like Diamond Ragnaros, which is pretty cool. That's a cool effect. But see, my actual favourite card is a boring one.
Right.
It's called Master's Call, and it's Hunter card, and it draws 3 beasts from your deck. And and it used to be combined with a card called Dire Frenzy, which gave beasts +3/+3 and shuffled it into your deck.
Oh, I hate playing against them.
You'd make one big beast,
Yeah.
shuffle copies in, and then draw them with
Yeah.
Master's Call, so it was really powerful. And Hunters never really had good card draw, so I loved it when they did.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'd probably say it's not even a standard card, so I don't even know if people care. But there was a card called Carnivorous Cube, which was a 5-drop, 4/6, and you play it on the board, and it eats like one of your own minions. But then when the cube dies, it spits out 2 of those minions. So
you want to silence that thing, don't you?
Yeah.
Really?
So there was another hunter deck called Cube Hunter, believe it or not, where you would eat like charge minions. So you do stuff on like King Crush or anything like that, where you could do massive damage because you'd put them in, and you also had a card that Hunter at one point had a lot of cards that activated death rattles without the minion dying. So like Play Dead is 1 mana, activate death rattle. So it would still have those minions in the cube, but you'd press it and then 2 extra dudes would come out, and then you'd be able to do whatever with them. So you used to just make crazy boards with like spiders and stuff, and just have huge buff, like massive minions going. And it was a super cool card. It was playing a lot of different classes as well. So Carnivorous Cube is probably my favorite overall card that isn't a hunter.
Oh no, that's a good answer. I remember that. I do remember that. I've been playing it since the early days, so I remember a lot of the older cards as well. Just lastly, Raven, last 2 bits here. WoW Classic, the Burning Crusade just come out. I haven't had time to play this, but I saw on your stream the other day, I think you played it. I saw a VOD. What are your thoughts on that? Is it as you remember it? Because that's at the time I quit WoW, just after TBC came out.
Yeah, it is. It's weird, right? I've been playing it a bit. I probably didn't help myself because I didn't play Classic. Well, I played it. I didn't finish it. I didn't get to 60 or whatever.
Same.
So I had a boosted character, which is 58. So at the moment, I'm in Zangarmarsh, level 61 or something. But I've done 3 levels in the expansion so far. But it's good and bad at the same time, which is what we know, right? Like the game back then, it wasn't great in terms of how accessible it is. Things take ages. Like I've played every WoW expansion that's been done, but the newer ones I play more like a single player game where I'll get to max level, play for another few weeks, and then stop and be okay with it. And like I had a quest today, get 30 Naga claws, and you get 1 from killing the Naga, and I was like, 30? Like nowadays in WoW, it's like kill 4 of these, they'll drop it guaranteed. And then you're done, and you can like 2-shot these mobs, and that's it. And you just move on. And this is like, no, quests are like serious, and then you die, just like I remember. But yeah, it's really good. It's difficult. It's grindy. It's long. Some of the quests are just a pain in the ass, as we remember. But like people are grouping, like naturally, people are helping each other out. There's no group finder, so you've got to just get a group together yourself. Like farming mats is important because like now on WoW in retail, gold just doesn't matter because there's nothing to really buy with it. So it just doesn't matter. Whereas back then, obviously, you have flying mount skill, epic flying, all the materials to craft the epic weapons, which are great. Like people are raiding Karazhan now, which was awesome. So yeah, I'm playing it, but I'm only casually playing it. Like I'm not racing to 70. I'm just logging on for a couple of hours, have some fun, and then log off. I'll get to 70 if I get there. But yeah, it's just as you know, right, a nice nostalgia hit of the old days of WoW, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Something's just popped into my head. I should have asked this at the start. Where you're based? You're obviously a northerner. Are you around Manchester?
Yeah, just south of Manchester. I'm on just like the outskirts, so not super expensive to live, which is good. But yeah, it's like a 20 minutes drive, 15 minutes drive from Manchester City Centre. So yeah, not too bad.
That's not too bad.
I'm one of the few up north ones. All my co-casters are from south, so.
All good. And lastly, Raven, tell us any shout-outs. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Because I mentioned your stream briefly, but you have a stream. Yeah, twitch.tv/Ravencasts, is it?
RavenHS.
Right,
it's the only thing that isn't Ravencast of my social stuff. But yeah, it's RavenHS. I stream mainly Hearthstone, but you probably guessed, I play a lot of other games. That sometimes I stream some like promotional stuff and things like that. I will be streaming a lot more now that I'm done with Grandmasters. But my general issue with my stream is I'll stream a lot. It'll be going well. and then the Grandmaster season starts, so I can't stream for 8 weeks because I'm working, so it get, a bit choppy. But yeah, I stream, and then in general, just watch Grandmasters. It's pretty good. We've got Masters Tour Dalaran is next weekend. It's going to be great, but I'm going to be tired because it's on APAC time zone, so I'll be starting work at 1 a.m. UK time when it starts. So yeah, feel bad for me. But yeah, just go to Hearthstone Esports on YouTube, watch Grandmasters. All the VODs are up, all the content pieces that we all make, all the casters make are up, and it's just a good show. It's really good. The next season starts, I should know this, I want to say early August. It's either early August or the last week in July. In a few weeks, I'll tweet it. But yeah, so just watch Hearthstone. It's cool. And the seasons of Grandmasters are getting better and better. And there's some really good stories and some really good new players coming in season 2 as well.
Yeah.
Which we'll find out for sure after next week, because once this Masters Tour is done, we know 100% who the next 4 players for each region are. So yeah, just check out my stream if you want, and then check out Hearthstone Esports.
Brilliant. Well, I think you've got the record. I think this is the longest interview, or one of the longest that I've done in a while. We're up to 80 minutes now, but we had a lot to talk about and cover.
Yeah.
And thanks for your time, Alex. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Anything I might have missed? Is there anything else you want to mention?
Probably. We could probably record this all day and stuff, couldn't we? There's a lot to talk about. But no, sounds all good to me, mate. But by all means, give me a shout whenever you want to chat and catch up again. It's a pleasure. Thanks.
Brilliant. Thanks for your time. Everyone, thank you for watching. Please give Raven a follow on Twitter and socials, like he says, Ravencast, and then Raven HS on Twitch. And yeah, give Hearthstone a chance is what I'd say as well, because there's more card games out there now. But for me, Hearthstone is one of the first and one of the best, and I like the whole Warcraft theme anyway, and the whole vibe and the characters and so on. So yeah, give it a chance if you haven't, and hopefully you'll see Raven and Sottle and others on a future cast. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thanks for joining me, Alex.
My pleasure.